Hello, dear friend. Tonight, let's wander softly into a gentle story. A story about trying to be happy in every situation. No matter what comes your way, imagine a quiet place where the stars sparkle just for you, and the trees seem to listen carefully to your heart. This isn't just any story to help you fall asleep. It's a tale about a gentle kind of courage, the kind that lives quietly inside you, even when things feel hard. Our story follows Lulu, a little baby sheep with big, sparkling eyes, who learns that happiness doesn't always come from shiny things or big adventures. Sometimes, it's found in the smallest moments, the kind kindnesses, and the love we share every day. If this story feels like a warm hug to your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who might need a little light, and subscribe so you can visit this peaceful place again whenever you want. We'd also love to know where you are in the world right now. Share with us which country you're from, what time it is for you, and what your sky looks like tonight. Now, find a cozy spot, let your body relax and your mind slow down. Take a deep, soft breath in, and a gentle breath out. Let's begin this quiet journey together with Lulu, the little sheep who learns to find joy, no matter what. The stars twinkled gently above Clover Dream Valley, like tiny lanterns hanging in the sky. A hush had settled over the hills, and the soft breeze carried the scent of blooming moonflowers. The world was quiet, now resting, dreaming, glowing under the silver moon. Down in a sleepy meadow, wrapped in tall grass and sleepy crickets, there lived a baby sheep named Lulu. Lulu was not like any ordinary sheep. Her wool was fluffy like marshmallow clouds, and her big, sparkling eyes shimmered with curiosity. She had a tiny pink nose that wiggled when she was thinking, and the gentlest giggle that made even the butterflies smile. Every night, before she closed her eyes, Lulu would look up at the stars and whisper, "I wonder what else is out there." Then she would snuggle under her favorite leaf blanket, curl her hooves beneath her tummy, and drift into dreams full of floating castles, talking trees, and fairy music. Clover Dream Valley was a special place. Fairies lived in the petals of daisies. Elves played tunes on bendy leaves that sounded like lullabies. The sunflowers giggled when you tickled them, and the rivers hummed sleepy songs as they flowed. Lulu loved her home more than anything. She loved how the morning dew felt like fairy kisses on her nose. She loved how Grandma Woolly would tell her bedtime stories while brushing her curls. She loved the warm bread the elves baked every Tuesday, and how every night ended with laughter, cuddles, and a sky full of stars. But deep inside her little woolly heart, Lulu sometimes dreamed of something more. Something even more magical. She didn't know what it was. She didn't need a reason. It was just a quiet whisper somewhere in her chest. A feeling, a spark. One night, while all the flowers slept and the fireflies danced in the moonlight, Lulu tiptoed out of her little mossy house. She sat on her favorite hillsoft hill and looked up at the stars. "Do you think there's something else?" she asked the moon. The moon didn't answer, but it gave her a gentle wink. Just then, poof, a sneeze popped behind her. Lulu turned with a startled jump. There, rolling out from behind a mushroom, was a chubby fairy with glitter stuck to her wings. She hiccuped, blinked, and sneezed again. "Achoo-psie," she said. "Too much sparkle pudding." "Sorry for the poof." Lulu blinked. Then she giggled. The fairy giggled too, and then hiccuped again. And just like that, the night wasn't quiet anymore. It was full of soft laughs and silly sneezes and tiny wings flapping in a fluttery panic. "I'm Tilly," the fairy said, flopping into a daisy. "You're Lulu, right? The sheep who talks to the moon?" Lulu blushed a little. "Sometimes, when I can't sleep," Tilly nodded. "That's the best time to wonder." Lulu looked down. "Do you ever think there's more?" Tilly tilted her head. "More what?" "I don't know," Lulu whispered. "More magic, more ... special." Something I haven't seen yet? The fairy's eyes sparkled. Oh yes, there's always more. But sometimes, it's not where we think it is. Lulu's ears perked up. What do you mean? Tilly smiled, sleepy and sweet. Sometimes the more is already with us. We just haven't seen it yet. That night, Lulu didn't sleep right away. She lay under the stars beside her new fairy friend, listening to the soft hum of the night. The breeze brushed her cheek like a lullaby, and her heart felt a little warmer, a little fuller, but the whisper in her chest still glowed. The next morning, after the sunrise stretched its golden arms across the valley, Lulu woke up with a skip in her step. The fairies were fluttering over the clover fields, and the elves were practicing their leaf harps again. Everything felt just as it always did. And yet, Lulu felt different. She looked at her cozy cottage, her sleepy meadow, and the sky above, and she smiled. She still loved her home. But now, she also loved the idea that maybe, just maybe, there was a little more magic out there waiting for her. And she was ready to find it. Her heart beat softly. Not fast, not loud. Just ready. Ready for whatever magic might come next. And somewhere, high above the valley, the moon winked again. The morning light stretched slowly over Clover Dream Valley, painting the grass with golden hush. The flowers yawned and opened their sleepy petals, and the fairies began to stir, their wings buzzing softly like tiny lullabies. Inside her cozy clover blanket, nestled between buttercup pillows, Lulu, the baby sheep, blinked open her sparkling eyes. She stretched one hoof, then the other, then let out a tiny squeaky yawn. Outside, the world shimmered with dew. Everything was soft and fresh, like a brand new page waiting to be colored in. Lulu loved mornings. She loved how the air smelled like sweet grass and fairy dust. She loved the tickly feeling of sunlight on her nose. And most of all, she loved wondering what tiny adventure the day might bring. But this morning, something felt different. A breeze light as a whisper, and cool as peppermint snuck in through the window. It tickled Lulu's ear. She giggled, and swatted at it with her fluffy tail. But the breeze didn't stop. It danced around her, tugging gently at her curls, teasing her nose, swirling around her hooves. All right, I'm coming. Lulu giggled, hopping to her feet with a sleepy bounce. She trotted outside, the breeze tugging her along like an invisible ribbon. Where are we going? She asked, but the breeze only whooshed quietly in reply. Through the meadow they went past the giggling tulips and over the mushroom bridge. The flowers bowed as she passed, and a ladybug on a daisy waved a sleepy hello. Then, the breeze grew stronger. It whooshed around her faster, playfully, like a game. Lulu squealed and tried to catch it with her hooves, spinning and laughing, tumbling in the grass, her fluffy wool puffed up with static from a dandelion poof, and, for a moment, she looked like a walking cloud. Bah, she giggled. I look like a snowball. She rolled down a tiny hill with a wee, and landed with a soft plop in a bed of feather grass. But the breeze wasn't done yet. It nudged her again, this time more gently, whispering something she couldn't quite hear, with a curious sparkle in her eyes. Lulu stood up and followed. Deeper and deeper into the forest they went. The trees grew taller here, older, quieter. The sun filtered through their leaves in golden threads, and tiny sparkles floated in the air like sleepy stars. This isn't part of Clover Dream Valley, Lulu whispered, a little amazed. The breeze whooshed one last time, then disappeared. Lulu blinked. In front of her stood a tree unlike any she'd ever seen. It glowed, truly glowed, soft and silver, as if moonlight had wrapped itself around every leaf. Its trunk shimmered with little sparkles that looked like memories, and from one single branch hung a fruit, but not just any fruit. It was crystal. It shimmered like the stars, like rainbow glass. Its glow changed as the light moved, purple, blue, green, then gold. It didn't sway in the breeze. It hovered, just slightly. Lulu's mouth dropped open, her big eyes widened. Wow. She stepped closer. The grass beneath the tree was velvet. The air felt warmer here, still, like the whole world was holding its breath. Very gently, Lulu reached up. Her little hoof brushed the crystal fruit, and something inside her chest tingled. She imagined a palace of floating petals, where the clouds were beds, and she wore a cape made of sunbeams. Fairy servants dancing with tea trays, elf musicians playing lullabies just for her, a garden that sang, a rainbow slide, a never-ending pie buffet. She smiled so wide it almost touched her ears. Then she stopped. Her eyes blinked slowly. The fruit was still there. She looked at it closely. It glowed even more now, as if it knew what she had felt, as if it had whispered back. Maybe, Lulu whispered, maybe this is the more I was dreaming of. Her heart fluttered, not fast, not scared, but wonder-filled suddenly. The woods felt a little bigger, a little quieter, a little less like home. She turned around to walk back, but the breeze was gone, and she didn't remember the path she came from. Her little hoof stopped, her ears drooped just a bit. She turned left, then right. Every tree looked the same, now tall, still shimmery. The forest didn't hum like Clover Dream did. It breathed, slow, deep. Lulu's sparkle dimmed for just a moment. Then snap, a tiny twig broke behind her. She jumped, startled, from behind a fern. A bush rustled. Out popped a squirrel, with a pinnacle hat too big for his head. At you. He sneezed, and the hat fell over his eyes. Lulu blinked. The squirrel stood still, then peeked out. They stared at each other, then both burst into giggles. Your hat, Lulu laughed. Your fluff, he pointed, and they both rolled in the grass, laughing until their tummies hurt. When they were done, Lulu sighed. I think I'm a little lost. The squirrel nodded and sat beside her. That happens, he said, casually munching a berry, especially when you're following a breeze. Lulu looked at the crystal fruit. Do you think it's special? The squirrel shrugged. Looks sparkly, but what matters is how it makes you feel. Lulu thought about that, how it made her feel. Excited, happy, curious, but also a little unsure now. She snuggled closer to the squirrel, and he shared a berry. With her, the forest didn't feel so quiet anymore. As Lulu watched the sunlight flicker through the trees, she hugged the fruit gently and whispered, I don't know where I'm going, but maybe that's okay. And the trees, just for a second, seemed to nod. Then they swayed, ever so slightly, and somewhere far away, the breeze laughed. The forest was so quiet, so still, that even the tiniest sound felt like a song. Lulu stood beneath the glowing tree, her soft white curls brushing the tips of the grass. The shimmering fruit floated gently in front of her, its crystal light dancing across her wool. She tilted her head, blinking those big sparkling eyes of hers. The fruit glowed brighter, as if calling to her. She reached up slowly, her little hoof trembling just a bit, and then, with the gentlest touch, pluck. The moment she held the fruit, something magical stirred. It was like a warm breeze curled up inside her chest, like a hug made of sunshine and dreams. Lulu gasped softly. The world around her began to shimmer. The trees melted into light. The forest floor turned into cotton candy mist. And then, she was no longer in Whisper Willow Woods. She was somewhere else. Lulu blinked. Her hooves weren't touching the ground anymore. She floated softly, gently through clouds that sparkled like sugar dust. Music filled the air, light and playful. Like giggling wind chimes, before her stood a grand palace. It shimmered with silver vines and was taller than the tallest tree she'd ever seen. The windows were shaped like stars, and tiny fairies flitted about, tying rainbow ribbons around the turrets. Lulu's mouth opened wide. Wow! A door made of stardust opened, and inside, oh, she gasped. Inside was a ballroom made of floating petals. They spun slowly in the air, never falling, like they were dancing just for her. A gentle voice whispered, Welcome, Princess Lulu. Her little heart skipped. P Princess. She stammered. She looked down. Her wool was now twinkling with sparkles. Around her shoulders was a gown light as a cloud, soft as a dream. It shimmered in every color of the morning sky. Tiny fairies flew around her, fluffing her gown, brushing her curls with combs made from golden thistles. One even tried to put glitter on her nose, but sneezed and covered herself instead. Lulu giggled. The fairy did too. From the corner of the room came a parade of elf musicians. their instruments made from dewdrops and flower stems. They played songs that made her hoofs wiggle with joy. "Please," said a smiling elf with a blueberry crown, "come to the feast." Lulu was guided down a hallway lined with mirrors that whispered compliments. "Lovely fluff today, your woolliness. Such sparkle in your step. Sheep of the year." She giggled again and trotted into a dining hall where everything sang. Yes, sang. The bread sang lullabies, the teacups hummed little tunes. When you sipped from them, even the jelly wobbled to the beat, doing a happy dance that made Lulu burst into laughter. She tried a cupcake that tasted like warm giggles. She sipped tea that felt like bedtime cuddles. And for the first time ever, she felt like the center of a dream. Fairies spun above her in circles of light, casting twinkles that danced across the walls. "You're meant to stay here forever," said a soft voice beside her. She turned to see a gentle fairy queen with hair like candlelight. Her eyes were kind and deep. "Forever?" Lulu asked. The queen nodded. "No chores, no sadness, no cold mornings, just magic and joy." Lulu looked around. Everyone was smiling. Everything sparkled. It was perfect, wasn't it? She smiled too, but her eyes began to flicker. She missed something, something small. She didn't know what. She touched her chest. That warm breeze from before it was still there, but quieter now. Still. The music continued, but Lulu's ears drooped just a little. She looked down at her plate. The cupcake was singing, but not to her. It sang to the air. The jelly was dancing, but didn't notice her. The fairies spun in circles, but none looked her way. Suddenly, she felt something she hadn't felt since she left her meadow. Lonely, her smile trembled. Her hoof rested on the crystal fruit, still glowing faintly. She whispered, "I want to go home." The air paused. The laughter softened, the music slowed. The fairy queen turned home. Lulu nodded. Her eyes shimmered with tears. "I miss the flowers, and my cozy clover bed, and Grandma Willie's stories." One tiny tear slid down her fluffy cheek. A fairy flew up and caught it in a thimble. "Isn't this your dream?" the queen asked. Lulu looked down. "It was, I think. But the jelly sings," said the fairy with the glitter-covered nose. "I know," Lulu sniffled. "And your gown sparkles." "I know. But Grandma Willie doesn't sing," Lulu said. "And the jelly at home just jiggles, and I like that better." Silence fell, and then the fairy queen smiled. "Then, you are wiser than most." She waved a soft hand. The palace began to shimmer. The floating petals paused. The music faded to a hush, and the dream gently folded itself away. Lulu opened her eyes. She was back beneath the glowing tree, the crystal fruit still in her hoof. She blinked. The woods were quiet, but this time, the quiet felt warm. She sighed softly and smiled. She hugged the fruit to her chest. "Thank you," she whispered. Then she sat down and listened to the leaves, not singing, just rustling, and that was enough. The little baby sheep, with her soft, fluffy wool and big, sparkling eyes, held the precious fruit gently in a tiny pouch tied around her neck. She looked at it with so much hope and excitement. "This fruit," she whispered to herself, "will bring me my dream life. When I reach the special place, the one worthy of it, everything will be perfect." She took a deep breath, feeling a flutter of joy in her chest. The world outside was so big and full of wonders. Her little hooves patted softly on the soft green grass as she began her journey, her pouch bouncing lightly with every step. As she walked, she noticed something strange and funny. Tiny mushrooms were dancing in a circle, bobbing and spinning like little ballerinas. She couldn't help but giggle. "Look at those silly mushrooms," she said with a happy smile, her voice light and soft. The mushrooms twirled and jumped, as if they knew a secret joke. The baby sheep clapped her little hooves with delight, feeling lighter and more joyful than ever. Suddenly, from behind a tall tree, popped out a small figure with twinkling eyes and a pointy hat. "Hello there," the figure said cheerfully. "I'm Niblin, the forgetful elf. Have you seen my hat? Or was it my boots? Oh dear, I can never quite remember." The baby sheep's eyes widened with surprise and curiosity. "Hi Niblin, I haven't seen your hat or boots, but I'm happy to help you look," she said kindly, her voice soft and warm. Niblin scratched his head, looking very confused but friendly. "Thank you." I always forget things, but I never forget to smile." He grinned, and the baby sheep giggled again, feeling a warm friendship growing between them. They walked together, the baby sheep still holding her pouch close. "Do you think this fruit will really bring me the life I dream of?" she asked quietly, a little worried. Niblin thought for a moment, his eyes sparkling. Maybe the fruit is special, but sometimes it's the journey and the friends we make that make life truly magical. The baby sheep looked at Niblin with wonder. "You really think so?" Niblin nodded, his smile gentle and wise. "Yes, and don't worry, I'll help you remember all the important things, even if I forget my own boots." They both laughed, the sound ringing softly through the peaceful forest, as the sun began to dip low in the sky, painting everything with soft gold and pink. The baby sheep felt a tiny tear slide down her cheek. It wasn't sadness, but a gentle feeling of missing her family and the home she left behind. Niblin noticed and gave her a comforting smile. "It's okay to miss home," he said softly. "But remember, every step you take is part of your story, and you're not alone." The baby sheep wiped her tears and smiled back, feeling brave and loved. That night, under a sky filled with twinkling stars, she dreamed of the place worthy of the fruit, a place where dreams come true, where hearts are full, and where laughter and kindness live forever. She hugged her little pouch tightly and whispered, "I'm ready for whatever comes next." The baby sheep and Niblin walked slowly through the forest, their footsteps soft on the mossy ground. The baby sheep held her little pouch close, where the crystal fruit sparkled gently. It was her treasure, her hope, the dream she carried deep in her heart. As they moved deeper into the forest, the light changed. The sun filtered through the tall trees in golden beams, and the air smelled sweet and fresh. The baby sheep felt a flutter of excitement mixed with a tiny bit of nervousness. What would the special place be like? Would the fruit still shine brightly when they got there? One morning, as the baby sheep woke up from a soft nap, she noticed something strange. The crystal fruit in her pouch wasn't sparkling the same way. Anymore, it was still beautiful, but the bright shine had softened. She took it out gently and looked closely. "Oh," she whispered, her big eyes wide with surprise and a little worry. The crystal fruit had changed, was no longer clear and glowing. Instead, it looked like polished amber, warm and golden, glowing softly like a little sun trapped inside. Niblin saw the fruit and gasped, his eyes growing even bigger than before. "Oh my, look at that," he exclaimed, a little breathless. The baby sheep's heart beat faster. "Is it bad? Is my fruit losing its magic?" she asked quietly, her voice trembling just a little. Niblin shook his head gently, smiling kindly. No, little one. Amber is very special too. It's still rare and beautiful, just different. It tells us that things can change and still be wonderful." His voice was soft and full of warmth. The baby sheep blinked, her big eyes sparkling with wonder again. "Really? Even if it's not crystal anymore?" Niblin nodded. "Yes, sometimes what we think is perfect can change shape, and that's okay. It can be just as lovely, even more so, if we look with our hearts." The baby sheep smiled, feeling a gentle peace settle inside her. She held the amber fruit close, feeling its smooth, warm surface. It was still a treasure, still a promise of her dreams. As they walked on, the forest seemed alive with magic. The little baby sheep noticed a funny Sita squirrel trying to jump from one branch to another, but missing and landing in a pile of leaves with a soft plop. The squirrel shook his head and looked around as if no one had seen the baby sheep, and Niblin couldn't help but giggle softly, their laughter bubbling up like a warm spring. The baby sheep's giggle was so pure and light, it made Niblin laugh too, and even the squirrel seemed to twitch his nose in amusement. "Sometimes," Niblin said between chuckles, "we all have little stumbles. It's part of the adventure." The baby sheep nodded, feeling happy that even mistakes could be funny and not scary. As they traveled farther, the forest grew quieter, the baby sheep's excitement mixed with a tiny seed of fear. The path was unknown, and the trees seemed taller and more mysterious. She hugged her pouch tighter, her eyes wide with wonder but also a little worry. "Niblin," she said softly, "what if the fruit changes again? What if it stops being beautiful altogether?" Niblin stopped and looked at her with gentle eyes. It's okay to feel scared, he said kindly. Change can be scary, but remember, the magic is not just in the fruit. It's in you, your hope, your courage, and your heart. The baby sheep felt a small tear slide down her cheek. She sniffled softly and then smiled through her tears. Thank you, Niblin. I'm glad you're here with me. Niblin gave her a warm hug, his little arms wrapping around her gently. I'm always here, he whispered. Together, they continued their journey, the amber fruit glowing softly in the baby sheep's pouch. The light in her eyes shone brighter than ever, not because the fruit sparkled like before, but because her heart was full of hope and trust. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, the baby sheep lay down on a bed of soft moss. She held the pouch close and whispered, change is part of the magic, isn't it? And somewhere in the quiet forest, the wind seemed to answer, singing a lullaby of wonder, courage, and the beauty of every step on the journey. The baby sheep, Lulu, kept walking through the quiet forest. Her little hooves made soft sounds on the leafy path. She held her pouch close to her chest, where the fruit once shone like a crystal, then glowed like amber, and now, while she wasn't quite sure what it was anymore, inside, Lulu felt a flutter of worry, but she tucked it deep down and tried not to think about it too much. Maybe it will all be okay, she whispered to herself, her voice soft and gentle. Maybe there is a golden meadow waiting for me, a meadow filled with sunshine, flowers, and happiness. Yes, that must be it. Her big sparkling eyes looked ahead, shining with hope even though a tiny tremble hid behind them. She wanted to be brave. She wanted to believe. Niblin, the forgetful elf, walked beside her humming a little tune. He noticed Lulu's quietness and nudged her gently with a smile. You're doing wonderfully, Lulu. Every step you take is a step closer to your dream. Lulu smiled, though her heart still fluttered. I'm trying, she said softly. Sometimes it feels like the fruit is changing too much. I don't know if it's still magic. Niblin chuckled and said, change can be a little confusing, but sometimes it makes things even more special. He winked and added, just like a good story that surprises you. Lulu giggled, feeling a bit lighter. Then, just ahead, they came upon something truly magical. Floating above the soft green grass was a market like nothing she had ever seen before. It was a fairy market, full of tiny stalls hanging from sparkling vines, lanterns glowing softly like fireflies, and little fairies fluttering everywhere, their wings shimmering with rainbow colors. Lulu's eyes grew wide with wonder. Oh look, she whispered. It's a fairy market, so magical and bright. Niblin smiled, his forgetful nature forgotten for a moment as he pointed to a stall where sparkling fairy dust was being sold, and another where tiny jars of honey glowed with a golden light. Lulu wanted to laugh with joy, but then, when she reached to peek into her pouch, she froze. The fruit had changed again. It was no longer shiny or glowing. Now it had turned to wood. Lulu stared, her big eyes filling with surprise, then a small flicker of fear. She ran her tiny hoof over the wooden surface. It was smooth, but hard, and very different from the crystal and amber she had held before. Oh no, she whispered, her voice trembling. What's happening to my fruit? Is it broken? Is my dream gone? Niblin looked at the wooden fruit and gasped softly. Well, that's unexpected, he said, scratching his head. But wood is strong and steady. Maybe it means something good, too. Lulu's heart felt heavy, and a tear slipped quietly down her cheek. She blinked it away, trying to be brave, but the feeling was hard to hide. Niblin sat beside her on a soft patch of grass and said softly, it's okay to feel scared, Lulu. Sometimes, our dreams change shape, and that can feel strange. But just because it looks different doesn't mean it's not special. Lulu sniffled, wiping her cheek with her little hoof. I just wanted it to stay bright and magical, she said quietly. I wanted it to sparkle like a star. Niblin smiled gently. You know, even the strongest trees start as small seeds. Wood can protect and hold us up. Maybe your fruit is growing into something new, something strong and real. Lulu looked at him, her eyes shining with tears and wonder. Do you think so? Niblin nodded. I do. And remember, I'm here. With you, we will find the golden meadow together, no matter what the fruit looks like. Lulu smiled softly, feeling the warmth of friendship and courage grow inside her. She hugged her pouch, now holding the wooden fruit, and took a deep breath. Just then, a tiny fairy zipped by, trailing sparkling dust. She stopped and giggled at Lulu's worried face. "Don't worry, dear sheep. Magic is all around, even when things seem different." Lulu giggled too, a soft laugh that warmed her heart. "Thank you," she said. "I think I'm ready to keep going." Niblin stood up and stretched, then made a funny face, crossing his eyes and sticking out his tongue. Lulu couldn't help but laugh out loud this time, her worries lightening just a bit. Together, they left the floating fairy market, walking toward the golden meadow Lulu dreamed about. The wooden fruit in her pouch didn't sparkle like before, but it felt warm and steady against her heart. Lulu whispered softly, "Maybe dreams don't always look the way we expect. Maybe the journey is what makes them special." Niblin smiled and said, "That's the most important magic of all." As the sun dipped low behind the trees, painting the sky with soft oranges and pinks, Lulu felt a peaceful calm settle inside her. The path ahead was still unknown, but she wasn't afraid. She had hope, friendship, and a heart full of courage. And with that, Lulu and Niblin walked on, ready for whatever magic the next step would bring. The sky was soft and quiet as Lulu, the baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, sat down by the side of the path. Her little heart felt heavy, and the wooden fruit in her pouch seemed to weigh even more now. She had hoped the fruit would stay bright and magical, just like the shiny crystal she first found. But it hadn't. It had changed first to amber, then to wood. And now, she wasn't sure what to think. Her eyes, usually so full of wonder and excitement, slowly filled with tears. A small shaky sob escaped her lips, soft as the gentle wind through the leaves. Why did my fruit change?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "I thought it would stay sparkling forever." The tears slid down her fluffy cheeks, glistening like tiny drops of morning dew. Lulu covered her face with her little hooves, trying to hide her sadness. She felt all alone, lost in a big world that suddenly seemed a little less magical. Niblin, the forgetful elf, sat quietly beside her. He didn't say anything at first, just gave her a gentle hug with his tiny arms, trying to share comfort without words. Sometimes, the warmest hugs say the most. Just then, from behind a curtain of shimmering leaves, an old fairy appeared. She moved slowly, with kind eyes that sparkled softly, like stars in the dusk. She carried a small basket and wore a cloak woven from threads of silver and gold. The fairy's smile was gentle, the kind that could melt worries away like sunshine. On a chilly morning, "Why are you crying, little one?" the fairy asked softly, her voice like a lullaby. Lulu looked up, wiping her tears with the edge of her wool. "My fruit, it's not sparkling anymore. It's turned to wood. I thought it was supposed to be magical. I thought it would make my dreams come true." The fairy nodded thoughtfully. "Oh dear Lulu, sometimes magic isn't what we expect. Sometimes, it's not just in shining things or sparkling fruit. Sometimes, magic lives quietly in the warm moments, the kind words, and the soft kindness we share." She reached into her basket and pulled out a small, steaming bowl of soup. The warm aroma floated gently toward Lulu's nose, smells of herbs and honey, and something sweet that made her mouth water. The fairy handed it to Lulu with a smile. "Here," the fairy said softly, "a little warmth to help you feel better. Joy isn't only found in shiny things. It's found here, in moments like this, in kindness, comfort, and care." Lulu took the bowl carefully, feeling the heat through the soft bowl in her little hooves. She sipped the soup slowly, letting the warm liquid spread through her, calming her heart. Niblin's eyes grew wide. That smells delicious," he said, his forgetfulness momentarily forgotten as he peeked at the bowl. Lulu giggled through her tears. "Thank you," she whispered to the fairy, her voice soft but stronger now. The fairy smiled, then sat down beside Lulu and Niblin on the soft grass. "You see," she said gently, "sometimes the things we think will bring us joy are not the only things. Sometimes, joy comes quietly, like this warm soup, a smile from a friend, or a kind word when you feel sad." Lulu nodded, feeling the truth of the fairy's words in her heart. "I think I understand," she said softly. Maybe I was looking for magic only in the fruit, but magic can be everywhere. Niblin smiled too, like in a funny squirrel who tries to dance but falls on his tail. He made a silly face, wiggling his nose and pretending to wobble, making Lulu laugh out loud. Her laughter was soft but bright, like little stars twinkling in the night sky. The baby sheep's sparkling eyes shone again, but this time with a different kind of light. It was the light of hope, mixed with new understanding. She looked at the wooden fruit in her pouch, no longer just a reminder of what she had lost, but a symbol of something new. Niblin whispered, "The journey isn't always easy, but every step, every moment, even the hard ones hold their own magic." Lulu smiled through her tears, feeling the warmth of the soup, the kindness of the fairy, and the joy of friendship. Her heart was growing stronger. The fairy stood up slowly, brushing a leaf from her cloak. "Remember, dear Lulu, sometimes the most precious magic is not the one we chase, but the one we find when we slow down and open our hearts." With a last gentle smile, she disappeared back into the shimmering leaves, leaving behind a soft trail of sparkling dust. Niblin stretched and yawned, then looked at Lulu with a twinkle in his eye. "Ready to keep going? I think the best part of the adventure is still waiting for us." Lulu nodded, her big eyes sparkling with hope once more. She tucked the wooden fruit safely into her pouch, feeling a quiet joy grow inside her. It wasn't the sparkling magic she had imagined, but it was a magic she knew she could carry with her, the magic of kindness, courage, and hope. As the stars began to twinkle gently above, Lulu, Niblin, and the memory of the kind fairy's warm soup stayed close in her heart, and with a deep, calm breath, Lulu stood up and took a step forward, one small, brave step into the next part of her journey. The soft light of dawn stretched gently across the sky as Lulu, the baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, stepped quietly along the winding path. Her little hoofs made soft rhythmic sounds on the mossy ground. The wooden fruit nestled safely in her pouch, and though it no longer sparkled like before, it still felt special, like a tiny treasure she wanted to protect. Niblin, the forgetful little elf with twinkling eyes and a mischievous smile, bounced beside her, his footsteps almost skipping with excitement. The old fairy merchant walked slowly behind them, carrying a small bundle tied with shimmering ribbons. Together they were making their way to a place called Willowlight Falls. "Lulu," Niblin said softly, "I heard the fairies at Willowlight Falls are the happiest in the whole forest. They laugh all day long. Can you imagine? Fairies laughing all the time." Lulu's eyes grew even wider, sparkling like stars. "Oh, I want to see that. I want to hear the fairies laugh." Her voice was full of wonder, almost like a little song. The path soon opened up, revealing a shimmering waterfall, but something was different. The falls sparkled like silver threads in the sunlight, but the air felt very still. No birds sang, no leaves rustled. Even the gentle waters seemed quieter than usual. Lulu blinked and looked closer. There, near the sparkling waterfall, were the fairies, but they weren't moving at all. They were frozen, caught mid-laugh there. Tiny mouths open in surprise, their delicate wings still fluttering as if caught in a slow, silent dance. Niblin gasped softly, "Oh no, ... The magic has stopped flowing here." Lulu's heart squeezed a little. She stepped closer, her big eyes filled with gentle concern. Why would the magic stop? How can the fairies be frozen like that? The old fairy merchant came up beside them, his eyes kind but worried. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "when magic feels tired or sad, it can pause to catch its breath. The fairies here are caught in a moment where the magic has stopped flowing." Lulu looked down at her pouch, feeling the wooden fruit pressed gently against her side. Her little mind was filled with questions. Could the fruit, even though it was no longer sparkling, still hold some magic? Could it help the fairies? "I want to help," Lulu said softly, her voice filled with hope, but also a little fear. "Maybe ... maybe my fruit can fix the magic." Niblin nodded quickly. "Yes, maybe the fruit is magic in a way we don't understand yet." Lulu carefully reached into her pouch and pulled out the wooden fruit. She held it close, her big eyes fixed on the frozen fairies. She took a deep breath, feeling a flutter of nervousness. Her tiny hooves trembled a little. "I hope you can help," she whispered. Just then, a small fairy still frozen mid-laugh suddenly blinked. Her eyes sparkled like little diamonds, and a soft giggle escaped her lips. Niblin's mouth dropped. Open, she moved. She's laughing again. Slowly, one by one, the fairies around the waterfall began to stir. Their frozen laughter melted into soft giggles, then joyful laughter that filled the air like bubbles floating on a warm breeze. Lulu's heart danced with happiness. She giggled, too, the sound light and full of joy that the fairies fluttered around her, their wings shimmering like tiny rainbows. They sprinkled little sparkles of light that tickled Lulu's wool and made her giggle even more. Niblin did a silly dance, waving his arms and hopping from one foot to the other, making Lulu laugh until her sides hurt. Oh, Niblin, Lulu giggled. You look like a wobbly mushroom trying to dance in the wind. Niblin laughed along, spinning and nearly falling over, which made everyone laugh even harder. But amid the laughter and joy, Lulu felt a quiet warmth inside her chest. She realized that magic was not just in sparkling fruit or frozen moments. It was in the smiles, the kindness, and the courage to believe even when things seemed dark. The old fairy merchant smiled softly. You see, Lulu, sometimes magic needs a little help, a little hope, but the greatest magic comes from within, from believing in yourself and the world around you. Lulu nodded slowly, feeling tears of happiness prick at her eyes. I understand, she whispered. Even when things change, even when they don't sparkle like before, there is still magic inside us. ... And around us. She hugged the wooden fruit close and looked up at the sparkling falls, now alive with laughter and light. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden shadows over the forest, Lulu, Niblin, and the merchant stood quietly, wrapped in the gentle magic of Willowlight Falls, and Lulu knew, deep in her heart, that her journey was just beginning. The magic she carried was not just in the fruit, it was in every smile, every tear, every step forward, no matter how small. The forest whispered softly around them, carrying their laughter and hope into the twilight, promising new adventures, and new dreams just waiting to be found. And with a calm, peaceful breath, Lulu took another small step along the path, her sparkling eyes shining bright with wonder, ready to meet whatever came next. The sun hung low in the sky, painting the world in soft shades of orange and pink, as Lulu, the baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, walked quietly beside the gentle river. The air smelled sweet with the scent of wildflowers, and the soft rustle of leaves whispered stories in the warm breeze. But Lulu's little heart felt heavy today. Her pouch, once filled with a bright, sparkling fruit that she believed held the magic to make her dreams come true, now held something very different. Lulu reached inside and carefully pulled out the object, cradling it gently in her soft hooves. It was no longer a fruit, not shiny or bright. It was a smooth stone, cool and gray, resting quietly in her palm. Lulu's eyes, usually wide with wonder, blinked slowly as a wave of sadness washed over her. It's just a stone now, she whispered, her voice soft and small. She looked at the stone again and again, hoping maybe it was just a trick of the light. But no, it was plain and still. Her dreams, the hopes she carried with her, the belief that this magical fruit could fix the world, or even herself, those dreams felt like they were slipping away like the fading light of day. The little elf who usually bounced and giggled beside her noticed the change in Lulu's spirit. He stopped and looked up at her with wide eyes. Lulu ... What's wrong? Lulu tried to smile, but it came out more like a sigh. The fruit, it's changed again. Now it's just a stone. I thought it would stay magical forever. I thought it could make everything better. Niblin's brow furrowed, and for once, he didn't have a silly joke or a funny dance ready. Instead, he reached out and gave Lulu's tiny shoulder a gentle squeeze. Sometimes things change, Lulu, but maybe that doesn't mean they're gone. Lulu looked at him, her sparkling eyes filling with tears. But how can a stone help? It doesn't shine, it doesn't sparkle, it doesn't do anything magical anymore. Niblin thought for a moment, then smiled softly. Maybe the magic isn't just in the shine. Maybe it's in the journey, the hope you carried with it all this time. Lulu blinked, wiping a tear from her fluffy cheek. The wind whispered through the trees, and for a moment, the world seemed very big and very quiet. She sat down on a soft patch of grass, her hooves clutching the smooth stone tightly. I feel small, she whispered. Like my dreams are too big for me. Niblin sat down beside her, his little legs crossed. It's okay to feel small, everyone does sometimes. But that doesn't mean you're not strong. Lulu looked up at the sky, where the first stars were beginning to twinkle. Do you think I'll ever find a way to fix things? To fix myself? Niblin smiled warmly. I think the fixing comes from inside, Lulu. The magic you thought was in the fruit. It's been inside you all along. Lulu's tears started to flow again, but this time, they were mixed with hope. She let them fall freely, feeling the soft warmth of the grass beneath her. I want to believe that, she said softly. Niblin chuckled, then suddenly made a funny face, scrunching up his nose and puffing out his cheeks. Hey, look over here. I'm a funny elf with silly ears. Lulu couldn't help but giggle, the sound bubbling up from deep inside. Her tears slowed, and the sadness felt a little lighter. She reached over and gently tapped Niblin's nose. You're the silliest elf I know. Niblin grinned. That's why I'm here, to make sure you don't forget to laugh, even when things feel hard. Lulu smiled, feeling a gentle warmth grow inside her chest. The stone in her hoof didn't sparkle, but it felt like a quiet promise, a reminder that sometimes, even when things seem broken or dull, hope can still shine softly. The old fairy merchant appeared beside them, carrying his warm smile and a small lantern that glowed like a gentle heartbeat. Lulu, he said kindly. Sometimes the greatest magic isn't what we hold in our hands, but what we carry in our hearts. The stone may seem plain, but it is a symbol of your courage to keep going, even when the path is hard. Lulu looked at the merchant, then at the stone, then back to the glowing stars above. I think I understand, she whispered. The magic is inside me. It's in every step I take, even when I'm scared or tired. Niblin clapped his hands with excitement. Yes, and every time you believe in yourself, that magic grows. Lulu hugged the stone close, her big eyes shining with tears, and a new kind of light, a quiet, steady glow that no one could see but she could feel. Together, Lulu, Niblin, and the merchant stood up, ready to continue their journey. The path ahead might still be full of unknowns, but Lulu's heart was a little stronger now. As they walked forward, the night air wrapped around them like a soft blanket, and Lulu whispered a promise to herself. I will keep hoping, I will keep believing, and even when things change, I will find my own magic. And with that, the little sheep with big sparkling eyes took her next step, her heart full of gentle courage, ready for whatever came next in the adventure. The soft mist from Willow Light Falls danced gently in the air, sparkling like tiny diamonds in the fading light. Lulu, the little baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, sat quietly on a smooth, moss-covered rock by the edge of the falls. The soothing sound of water tumbling over stones filled the air, wrapping around her like a lullaby. Her small hooves rested lightly in her lap, and her soft wool glistened faintly with the falling spray. Lulu's eyes gazed down at the smooth stone she held, a reminder of the journey she had traveled, the dreams she once carried, and the magic she hoped to find. But right now, sitting by the falls, Lulu felt very small and very tired. Her heart felt heavy, and her big sparkling eyes shimmered with quiet tears. She thought about her warm bed back home, the soft blanket she used every night, the way the sun painted golden stripes across her window in the early mornings. She remembered the smell of fresh hay and the gentle hum of crickets in the fields. Most of all, she thought of Grandma Woolly's cozy hugs, how they wrapped around her like the softest, warmest cloud. Grandma Woolly's hugs made everything feel safe and right in the world. Lulu let out a soft sigh. I miss home, she whispered, her voice barely more than a breeze. I miss the sunrises and the way Grandma's hugs make me feel like I'm the most special little sheep in the whole wide world. Niblin, her little elf friend, was nearby, quietly gathering tiny flowers with a gentle smile. He could see Lulu's sadness, but he didn't say anything. Sometimes, the best thing to do is just be there. Suddenly, from behind a shimmering leaf, a tiny fairy child appeared. She was no taller than a dandelion puff, with sparkling wings that shimmered in soft pastel colors. Her eyes were bright and kind, full of wonder and kindness. The The fairy fluttered closer and carefully held out a delicate flower. It was small and simple, nothing shiny or magical, but perfect in its own gentle way. Lulu looked up, surprised. She blinked slowly, feeling her heart soften. The fairy's tiny voice was soft and sweet. "For you," she said, smiling shyly. "I want you to have this." Lulu looked down at her empty paws. She felt a little embarrassed. "I don't have anything to give you in return," she whispered, her voice catching slightly. The fairy's smile didn't waver. "That's okay," she said with a twinkle in her eye. "Sometimes, giving doesn't need a gift back. Sometimes, just sharing a smile or a kind moment is the greatest gift of all." Lulu felt a warm glow spread through her chest. She took the flower carefully, her tears shining like tiny stars. Niblin clapped his hands quietly, making a little giggle escape Lulu's lips. "See? Even when you think you have nothing left, there's always a little magic in kindness." Lulu smiled through her tears and held the flower close, feeling a flicker of hope inside her heart. She looked up at the falls again, watching the water sparkle as it tumbled over rocks. "Maybe magic isn't about sparkling things or bright fruits," she whispered softly. "Maybe it's about moments like this, kindness, and hope." The fairy child giggled and twirled in the air, her laughter light and joyful, like the tinkling of tiny bells. Lulu laughed to a soft, happy sound that felt like sunshine after rain. As the evening stars began to twinkle in the sky, Lulu felt a gentle peace settle inside her. The journey was still ahead, with many steps to take. But for now, she was not alone. She leaned her head back, feeling the cool mist on her face and the soft earth beneath her. Lulu's big sparkling eyes reflected the glowing moon, and she whispered a quiet promise to herself. "I will keep going. I will keep believing. And I will always remember that kindness and love are the real magic in this world." And with that, the little sheep closed her eyes, breathing in the magic of the night, ready to rest and dream of new adventures to come. The night sky stretched wide above Willowlight Falls. Stars twinkling softly like little lanterns hung just for Lulu. The gentle hum of the falling water was like a lullaby, wrapping around her like a warm blanket. Lulu, the little baby sheep, with big sparkling eyes, sat quietly, clutching the smooth stone that had once been a shining fruit. Her heart felt heavy, but something inside her was beginning to change. As she held the stone, memories drifted gently through her mind, like petals floating on a calm stream. She remembered all the moments she had shared along her journey, laughing with Niblin, the forgetful little elf who could never quite remember where he put his hat or why he came to a place. She remembered how they both had giggled together when the mushrooms around them started to dance, twisting and twirling in the moonlight like tiny, silly ballerinas. Lulu's lips curled into a soft smile as she thought about that funny moment. "Niblin, you looked so surprised when the mushrooms spun around you. I thought you'd jump into the sky," she whispered, her voice warm and gentle. Niblin's eyes twinkled as he chuckled softly. "I think they wanted to teach me a dance," he said with a little shrug. "But I'm not sure if I'm very good at twirling." The two friends shared a soft laugh, a sound as light as the fairy dust floating through the air. In that laughter, Lulu felt a small spark of joy growing inside her heart. She thought about the old fairy merchant, who had shared warm soup and a kind smile when Lulu was feeling so sad. That simple kindness had felt like a cozy hug from the inside out. And the little fairy child, who had offered her a simple flower even when Lulu had nothing to give back. Those moments were small, but they felt like gentle stars lighting up the darkness. Lulu's big eyes grew misty again, but this time, the tears were different. They were tears of gentle understanding, of seeing the true magic all around her. Not just in the shiny fruit she had carried in her pouch. She whispered softly, "Maybe I was joyful all along, even before I found the fruit, because I had friends, and kindness, and magic in my everyday life." Niblin nodded slowly, his small hands folded. "That's right, Lulu. Sometimes we look for magic far away, in bright, sparkling things. But the real magic is here," he said, tapping his chest gently. "It's in friendship, laughter, and little acts of kindness." Lulu looked around at the soft glow of the stars, the shimmer of the falling water, and the gentle breeze that brushed her wool. She felt a warm glow in her chest that wasn't from the fruit teat, was from something much deeper suddenly. Lulu's ears perked up as a group of fireflies began to dance around them, their tiny lights flickering like fairy lanterns. The fireflies weaved patterns in the air, swirling and spinning in a magical dance. Lulu's eyes sparkled wide with wonder, her little heart beating with excitement and delight. She giggled softly, her voice a gentle melody. "Look, Niblin, the fireflies are dancing just for us." Niblin laughed too, watching the glowing lights twirl around. "It's like a magic show from the stars," he said, eyes wide with joy. Lulu felt her heart lighten with every flicker of light. She took a deep breath and whispered, "I think I'm ready now. Ready to keep going, not because I need magic from a fruit, but because I have magic right here, ... inside me." Niblin smiled warmly and stood beside her. "And I'll be right here with you," he said, holding out his tiny hand. Lulu reached out and took it, feeling the warmth of friendship fill her up. The smooth stone in her paw felt different now, a symbol of disappointment, but a reminder of how much she had grown. Together they stood and looked out at the falls one last time, the water sparkling under the moonlight. Lulu's smile grew brighter, soft and full of hope. She whispered to the night, "Thank you for showing me the magic I already had." The gentle breeze carried her words softly away, and the world seemed to sigh with happiness. As Lulu and Niblin began to walk forward, the stars twinkled brighter above, and the path ahead glowed gently with the promise of new adventures. And in that quiet, magical moment, Lulu knew that joy wasn't something to find far away or in shiny things. It was something she could carry inside her heart. Always. Her journey was just beginning. But now, she was not afraid. She was filled with wonder, love, and the beautiful, simple magic of being herself. And with that, the little baby sheep's big sparkling eyes shone with the soft light of 1,000 dreams. The soft, silver light of dawn was just beginning to touch the tops of the trees around Willowlight Falls. The water, which had been frozen still for what felt like forever, shimmered quietly in the gentle morning breeze. Lulu, the little baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, sat beside the sparkling falls, holding the smooth stone close to her heart. Her eyes were wide with wonder and a little bit of hope. She had learned so much on her journey. The fruit had changed and faded, but something inside her had grown brighter. She was ready to see what might happen next. Lynn, the little forgetful elf, sat next to her, watching the still water with curious eyes. The old fairy merchant was nearby, quietly stirring a small pot that smelled like warm cinnamon and honey. Suddenly, Lulu took a deep, slow breath. She closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the cool air on her soft wool. Then, she whispered softly, "I understand now. Magic isn't just sparkles or shiny things. It's laughter, it's kindness, it's joy shared with friends." Her little voice was like a gentle song carried by the morning breeze. As Lulu's words floated into the air, something wonderful began to happen. The still water at the falls shimmered, and then, very slowly, a ripple spread across its surface. The ripple grew, spreading wider and wider, until the whole waterfall seemed to breathe again, alive with sparkling light and gentle movement. Niblin's eyes grew big with surprise. "Look, the water is moving. The magic is waking up." Lulu smiled softly and reached out her little hoof toward the water. The sunlight caught the droplets as they danced in the air, making tiny rainbows. Her heart felt light and full nearby. The fairies, who had been frozen mid-laugh, began to stir. Their delicate wings fluttered like tiny leaves in a breeze. They blinked their bright eyes and smiled wide, their laughter filling the air like the sweetest music. One fairy, with wings that shimmered like morning dew, giggled and said, "We were only waiting for someone with a true heart to remind us what joy really is." Lulu's sparkling eyes filled with tears, not because she was sad, but because her heart was full of happiness and love. Niblin clapped his hands softly, his usual forgetful grin now full of wonder. "You did it, Lulu. You woke the magic with your kindness and your smile." Lulu looked at the smooth stone in her paw, now glowing softly with a warm light. It wasn't the shiny fruit she had hoped for, but it held something even more beautiful. Reminder that true magic comes from inside. The old fairy merchant joined them, his eyes twinkling. Magic isn't just in things that sparkle or glow, he said gently. It lives in the laughter we share, the kindness we give, and the love we carry in our hearts. Lulu nodded, feeling the truth of his words wrap around her like a soft blanket. Suddenly, the dancing mushrooms from earlier popped up around them, spinning and twirling again. Lulu giggled, and Niblin tried to copy their silly moves, wobbling and nearly falling over. They both laughed a soft, happy sound that filled the clearing. I don't think I'm a very good dancer, Niblin said with a sheepish grin. That's okay, Lulu said, her voice light and full of warmth. Dancing is fun, even when you're a little wobbly. They laughed together again, the sound mixing with the gentle rush of the waterfall and the bright chirping of birds welcoming the new day. Lulu looked around at her friends, the fairy merchant, the forgetful elf, the fairies now fluttering happily. She realized she was surrounded by magic, not magic in a fruit or a stone, but magic made by love and friendship. A little fairy flew up to Lulu and rested a tiny hand on her shoulder. You showed us that magic can pause, but it never truly goes away, she said softly. Lulu smiled, feeling a warm glow bloom inside her chest. She thought about her journey, the times she had been scared, the times she had laughed, the times she had cried. Each moment had led her here, to this place of joy and light. I think I understand now, Lulu whispered, her voice as soft as the morning breeze. Magic is in the heart. It's in the love we share and the happiness we find together. Niblin nodded eagerly. And in the silly dances with mushrooms, he added, making them both laugh again as the sun rose higher, bathing willow light, falls and golden light. Lulu felt peaceful and hopeful. She knew her journey was just beginning, but now she carried a treasure more precious than any sparkling fruit, a heart full of kindness, laughter, and true magic. And with that, Lulu took a deep breath, her big sparkling eyes shining brighter than ever. She was ready to keep walking, ready to discover all the wonderful moments waiting ahead, with joy in her heart and friends by her side. The magic of Willow Light Falls had awakened not from a spell, but from a true heart, and in that soft, gentle light, Lulu's story was only just beginning. The soft light of the morning wrapped Willow Light Falls in a warm, gentle glow. Lulu, the little baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, looked at the smooth stone resting beside the waterfall. It was quiet there, nestled on a bed of moss and tiny wildflowers. Catching the sunlight like a secret treasure, Lulu's heart felt peaceful. She knew this stone wasn't just any stone, was a special reminder. A reminder that magic wasn't always shiny or sparkly. Sometimes, it was quiet and steady, waiting for someone to see its true meaning. With a small smile, Lulu gently placed the stone just where it could be seen by anyone who came to the falls. This is for everyone, she whispered softly, to remind us all that joy and magic come from inside. Niblin, the little elf with a messy tuft of hair, bounced excitedly beside her. You're the best, Lulu. That stone will shine even without sparkles, because of what it means. Lulu giggled, her wool shaking as she twirled in delight. Come on, Niblin, let's dance and play. We don't need shiny things to feel happy. The fairies, who had just awoken from their frozen laughter, fluttered around them with delicate wings, joining the little sheep and the elf. Their laughter was light and musical, filling the air like the sweetest song. Niblin tried to mimic one of the fairies' twirls, but ended up spinning too fast and landing softly in a patch of daisies. Lulu burst into gentle laughter, her eyes sparkling brighter with joy. You're funny, Niblin, Lulu said, reaching out a soft hoof to help him up. But maybe twirling is for the fairies. Niblin blinked, looking a little dazed but grinning. Okay, maybe I need more practice. They all laughed together, the sound floating over the waterfall and into the bright morning air. Lulu felt a flutter of excitement in her chest. She didn't need to search for magic in a fruit or a stone anymore. She found it in the smiles of her friends, in the kindness shared, and in the joy of simple moments. The fairies taught Lulu a new game, one where they all chased shimmering bubbles that floated gently around the clearing. Lulu giggled as she tried to catch them, but the bubbles slipped through her wool like little whispers. Niblin joined in, his laughter ringing out as he stumbled and hopped, trying to pop as many bubbles as he could. Once, a bubble landed right on his nose, and he sneezed so hard it sent him rolling into a soft patch of moss. Lulu's laughter bubbled up like a gentle river, and even the fairies laughed along. "See," Lulu said, catching her breath. "Magic is in the fun we share." As the day warmed, Lulu felt a soft tiredness settle into her little body. She lay down on a bed of soft grass near the waterfall, watching the sunbeam dance through the leaves. Niblin curled up beside her, his small hand resting gently on her wool. For a moment, the world was quiet except for the gentle trickle of water and the happy hum of the forest. Lulu's eyes softened. "I was scared before," she said quietly, "but now I know. I don't have to be afraid, because I have friends, and kindness, and laughter. Those are the real magic." Niblin nodded, his eyes heavy but happy. "And we have you, Lulu. You showed us all how to find magic in the little things." Tears of joy welled up in Lulu's big eyes. She blinked them away with a gentle smile. "Sometimes, magic is just a hug, or a kind word, or a moment of laughter." Niblin yawned, stretching his tiny arms. "And maybe a soft nap near a waterfall too." Lulu giggled softly, snuggling closer to her friend. "Yes, that too." As the sun began to set, painting the sky in colors of peach and lavender, Lulu looked once more at the stone by the falls. It gleamed softly, not with sparkles, but with the quiet glow of meaning and memory. She whispered a promise to herself and to the world. "I will always remember that magic lives in our hearts, and I will share it every day." The fairies fluttered around her, their light glowing like tiny stars. Niblin gave her a sleepy smile, and Lulu, the little baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, felt full and joyful, without needing anything shiny at all. And with a heart full of love and magic, Lulu closed her eyes, ready for dreams filled with laughter, kindness, and the promise of new adventures. The sun was beginning to dip low, painting the sky with soft shades of pink and gold. Lulu, the little baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, felt a warm glow inside her heart as she began her journey home. The stone by the waterfall stayed behind, shining quietly in the last light, a gentle reminder of the magic she had discovered not in shiny things, but in kindness, laughter, and love. As Lulu walked along the winding path, she noticed a little rabbit struggling to carry a big basket of wildflowers. The rabbit's nose twitched nervously, and his tiny legs wobbled under the weight. Lulu's heart tugged gently, and without hesitation, she trotted over to help. "Hello there," Lulu said softly, her voice like a warm breeze. "Would you like some help with that?" The rabbit looked up, his eyes wide and grateful. "Oh yes, please. These flowers are for my grandma's birthday, but they're very heavy." Lulu smiled, her wool shimmering as she lifted part of the basket with her soft hooves. Together they carried the flowers along the path. As they walked, Lulu told silly stories about the dancing fairies she had met, and the funny elf named Niblin, who tripped over his own feet. The rabbit laughed, his nose twitching even more with joy. "You're very kind, Lulu. Thank you for helping me and for making me laugh." Lulu felt her heart swell with happiness. Helping others felt just as magical as any treasure. "I'm glad," she whispered, her eyes sparkling like stars. "Kindness is the best kind of magic." Further down the path, Lulu heard soft singing. Curious, she followed the melody until she reached a small group of elves sitting around a glowing campfire. Their voices rose and fell in a gentle tune that made the leaves dance and the stars peek out from the sky. Lulu's eyes widened with wonder. "May I sing with you?" she asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The elves smiled warmly and nodded. Lulu took a deep breath and began to sing. Her voice was soft and sweet, like a lullaby carried on the wind. The elves joined in, their laughter and music weaving together like a beautiful spell. At one point, Niblin, the mischievous elf, tried to do a fancy dance but tripped over a root, tumbling into a pile of leaves. Lulu giggled softly, the sound like a gentle bell. "Oh Niblin," she said, her eyes twinkling, "you make everything more fun." Niblin popped up, brushing leaves from his hair. "I'm just trying to keep up with you, Lulu," he said. With a cheeky grin, the night grew deeper, and Lulu felt a calm happiness settle over her. She realized she didn't need to chase after sparkling dreams or magical fruit anymore. Every step of her journey, every smile shared, was a treasure, all On its own, as Lulu continued walking, she came across a family of squirrels trying to build a new nest. The tiny squirrels looked frustrated as twigs kept falling apart. Lulu knelt down, her eyes full of gentle care. "May I help you?" she asked softly. The squirrels nodded eagerly, their little faces hopeful. Together, they gathered the strongest twigs and softest leaves. Lulu showed them how to weave the branches gently, and soon, a cozy little nest stood ready. One tiny squirrel climbed onto Lulu's woolly back and gave her a hug. Lulu felt a warm tear slide down her cheek, not of sadness, but of deep, tender joy. "Thank you," the squirrel whispered. "You've made our home safe." Lulu smiled, her heart full. "We all need a safe place," she said softly. "A place filled with love and care." The stars twinkled brighter as Lulu walked on. She looked up and thought about Grandma Woolly's cozy hugs, the warm bed waiting for her, and the sweet sunrises she loved so much. "I'm coming home now," Lulu whispered to the night. "But I will carry all this magic with me, laughter, friendship, and love." With each step, Lulu felt lighter, happier. No longer did she chase after faraway dreams. Now, she enjoyed every moment, every silly detour, every new friend along the way. The path led her to a gentle hill where fireflies danced like tiny lanterns. Lulu twirled slowly, her wool glowing softly under the moonlight. She laughed, a quiet, joyful sound that filled the night. And as she lay down to rest, with the stars watching over her, Lulu's big sparkling eyes closed gently. Her heart was full not with magic from a fruit or stone, but with the magic of a journey shared, kindness given, and love received. And so, the little baby sheep who once searched for magic far away had found it, at last, in the simple, beautiful steps of every day. The soft breeze whispered through the tall grasses of the meadow as the stars began to twinkle gently in the deepening sky. Lulu, the little baby sheep with big sparkling eyes, trotted slowly along the familiar path that led back to her home. Her wool glistened faintly in the moonlight, still carrying the gentle shimmer of her magical journey. But tonight, she felt something different, something warm and peaceful that came from deep inside her heart. As she reached the edge of the meadow, the fireflies danced around her like tiny floating lanterns. Lulu's eyes sparkled brighter than ever, filled with excitement and wonder. She wasn't the richest sheep with shiny treasures or magical stones, but she was surrounded by something far more special: friends who cared, memories that warmed her soul, and a quiet happiness that settled softly like a cozy blanket. Lulu found a soft patch of grass beneath a wide old oak tree, where the gentle rustling of leaves sang a lullaby to the night. She curled up in a little ball, her fluffy wool soft against the cool earth. Nearby, Niblin, the elf, sat with a mischievous grin, nibbling on a wild berry and trying to hide a smile. "You're all tired out, Lulu," he whispered with a chuckle. Lulu let out a soft giggle, her eyes twinkling as she looked at him. "I am," she said in a slow, calm voice, "but it's a good kind of tired, the kind that feels like a big hug." Niblin wiggled his nose and snorted a tiny laugh, which made Lulu laugh to a light, happy sound that floated up into the night sky. "You know," Lulu said softly, "I thought I needed shiny things to be happy, but now I see. Happiness is more like the hugs, the laughter, and the friends who walk beside you." Just then, a gentle breeze carried the soft hum of a lullaby from the nearby willow trees. Lulu's heart swelled with a tender feeling, and she closed her eyes for a moment. She remembered Grandma Woolly's warm hugs, the sweet smell of sun-ripened clover, and the first golden rays of the morning sun that kissed the meadow awake. Suddenly, a tiny fairy fluttered down and landed softly on Lulu's nose. Lulu's eyes grew wide with surprise and delight. The fairy's wings shimmered like dew on spiderwebs, and she giggled a little. "Welcome home, Lulu," she said in a voice like tinkling bells. Lulu smiled, feeling a gentle tear slip down her cheek, not from sadness, but from a quiet joy that filled every part of her. She reached up with a soft hoof and carefully touched the fairy's tiny hand. "Thank you for helping me see," Lulu whispered. "Thank you for reminding me that magic is everywhere, even here, in my meadow, with my friends." The fairy twirled in the air and sprinkled a little sparkling dust, making the meadow glow softly. Lulu's friends, little rabbits, chirping birds, and even shy deer gathered close, their eyes warm and happy. They all seemed to understand that Lulu had found something very precious, a heart full of kindness and a spirit that shines brighter than any treasure. Niblin bounced excitedly. "Let's have a dance party," he declared, pulling Lulu gently to her feet. The meadow filled with laughter and music as the friends twirled and hopped beneath the shimmering stars. Lulu's wool bounced with every step, and her eyes sparkled with pure delight. At one point, Lulu tried to do a little spin, but her wool was so fluffy, she stumbled and fell into a soft pile of moss. Everyone burst out laughing, especially Lulu, who laughed until tears of joy ran down her cheeks. "I guess I'm not very graceful," she giggled, "but I'm having the best time." The night grew deeper, and the stars wrapped the meadow. In a quiet glow, Lulu sat down again, this time leaning gently against an old tree trunk. She looked around at the happy faces of her new and old friends, and felt a wave of warmth wash over her. "I may not be the richest sheep," Lulu said softly, her voice full of wonder, "but I am the happiest. I have kindness, laughter, and love, and that is more magical than anything shiny or new." Her friends nodded, their eyes shining with agreement. The gentle night air hummed with peace, and Lulu's heart was full of dreams that didn't need chasing, full of memories to treasure, and full of a joy that could grow in every situation. As Lulu closed her eyes, the soft sounds of the meadow crickets chirping, the breeze sighing through the leaves, and the distant hoot of an owl lulled her toward sleep. She dreamed of sparkling stars, warm hugs, and a world filled with kindness. And in that peaceful moment, under the blanket of a starlit sky, Lulu knew she was exactly where she belonged, home, surrounded by friends, full of warmth, and truly, deeply happy. As our story gently comes to a close, remember that Lulu's journey shows us something very special: how to try to be happy in every situation, no matter what life brings. Happiness isn't always loud or bright. Sometimes it's soft, quiet, and found in the smallest moments of kindness and love. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that joy can live inside you, even when things feel hard, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder, and subscribe so you can return to this peaceful place whenever you need. Thank you for being here, for listening with an open heart, and for sharing this quiet joy. Keep trying to be happy in every situation. You are never alone on this journey. Take care, and may your days be filled with little moments that make your heart smile.